Okay. So moving on, I have the slides in the order in which they were received. So you'll see your slide, at which point the floor is yours. So Glenn, you were the first to send, or maybe it was Alfred. No, this one was Glenn. So you were the first to send. So there you are.
Great. Good day, everybody. I'm here representing the North American School of Internet Governance. In terms of timelines, we're a relatively new group. Starting in our first session we did was in March 2018. We were going to cycle back to San Juan again next spring, but that's not going to happen because of the COVID situation. But San Juan was a very successful event. Many of you that are here attended it either as fellows or were there as speakers. We followed that up with a pre-ICANN event in actually it's November 2019, my mistake. The 2021 was originally scheduled for Washington in 20, but that got canceled. We did our virtual event. It was a 2 half-day events this year in just the last month in November 2021. And we haven't set a date for 2022 for a virtual meeting. So our credo, and again, this has been formed as a triad. Eduardo Diaz is the chair of the, and we rotated depending on which country it's in. It's Eduardo, Alfredo, and myself are the three organizers, and we have a bunch of other volunteers that are involved, but I'll just read it quickly. NASIG is an in-depth capacity building event which focuses on teaching the development and application of the shared principles, norms, rules, policies, decision-making procedures, and organization that shape the evolution of the use of the internet with a focus on North American issues rather than generic. So NASIG seeks to empower the next generation of internet leaders. So that's our spiel. That's our Facebook link, and our recordings and testimonials are available for our school. So that's NASIG in a nutshell. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, is it you again, or is Alfredo taking this one?
No, this time it'll be me. This is Alfredo for the record. I'm the co-founder with Glenn of the Virtual School of Internet Governance. And I just want to mention that our mission is basically to keep our school as a virtual school. And we are trying to create and promote a comprehensive free online capacity building program on internet governance for anybody. So we started last September in 2020. We started planning this in March of 2020. And once the lockdown came in place, we thought that there needed to be something that could be available online without any kind of barriers in terms of content, in terms of connectivity and access to the resources. So this project is going to keep online, and it's going to serve sort of a multilingual online learning platform. And that is because this year in September 2021, we started a Spanish version of the course. Now, I want to mention that the Spanish version is sort of linked to the Spanish-speaking community. So it's basically Latin America, some islands in the Caribbean, and people from Spain that might be interested in learning more about the basics of internet governance. So we don't charge for our course. It's completely free. It's based on the pillars of the IG. And it's basically an 11 modules course, and it's self-paced. And we offer a certificate of completion for those that complete some requirements that we have. So Glenn, as I mentioned, and I are the founders. We have some sponsors, and that's why we keep it free. And there you can see that there's the link to our website. We have a website. We have a Facebook page, and we have a Twitter account. And you can follow all the live sessions we have, because in our model, we have live sessions, weekly speakers from all over the world that are experts in some of the areas we we discuss. So you can look at the past recordings in our YouTube channel, which is also Virtual School on Internet Governance. That's all for me.
Thank you. The African School. Do we have someone here from that? No? I guess since I teach there, I can cover it if we don't have either Callaway or anyone else. So it's a school sponsored by APC, the African Union and Research ICT Africa. For the last 2 years, because of the pandemic, it was done virtually. Last year, the virtual school was actually an alumni session where instead of having new fellows, it was basically a collection of fellows that had done this, the live school in the on-site school residential in the past. The goal is to develop a pipeline of leading Africans from diverse sectors, backgrounds, and ages with the skills to participate in local and international internet governance structures and shape the future of the internet landscape for Africa's development. 9 editions, with the first school held in 2013. I've been lucky to be at most of them, and the last 2 held virtually. I guess I already said that. Over the years, the school has brought together policymakers, government officials, researchers, regulators, engineers, system administrators, journalists, entrepreneurs, and gender equality and human rights defenders. The impact has been increased national, sub-regional, and global participation in ICT and internet-related policy developments, policy debates, process, and interventions, including schools of internet governance. The alumnus have emerged as experts. Let me get rid of my picture in the corner. As experts in the sector, influences, and often come back to the school as part of the faculty. So that's that one. And I beat the clock. I have set a clock now, so on the 3 minutes. Next one is Ghana. Do we have a representative of the Ghana school to speak to it?
Hi, good afternoon from Accra, Ghana. Raymond Mata here. I'm representing the Ghana School on Internet Governance. My colleague, Sarata Obane, is also in the call and will be helping me to answer questions when the time comes. So Ghana School on Internet Governance is organized by the E-Governance and Internet Governance Foundation for Africa, simply called EGICFA. We started just last year, 2020, where we had our first fellowship. Our main aim is to empower our fellows with requisite knowledge to become internet governance change agents and leaders both globally and locally. Some of our unique selling points, or what makes us quite unique among the other schools on internet governance, are that one, we do a 6 weeks online learning, which is a prerequisite for the fellows. They have to pass through this before they will be allowed to join the face-to-face session. And during this 6 weeks course, they take series of online courses on internet governance to broaden their scope. And we also give our GhanaSIG.org domain email to all our fellows. So all our fellows can proudly use our GhanaSIG.org email to do whatever they want to do for life. So our phases of our fellowship, one is the application, which is like any other school. They go to the selection. Then the online training before we do the face-to-face session. Our participants are doing very well in the ecosystem so far, and some are also getting very well noticed because some are getting ICANN selection like this. ICANN 72. We have 3 of GhanaSIG fellows. ICANN 72 or 73. The upcoming ICANN, 3 of GhanaSIG fellows have been selected for that, and the just held AfriSIG, we have 2 of the GhanaSIG fellows that have been selected for that. So we are doing quite well in the ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you. And the next. South
Oh.
School.
Thank you. Thank you, Avery, and welcome. Those of you in the session, thank you for being with us. And it's so good to see many friends and colleagues here online. And some of you may be, not many people in the room. So this is a brief overview of the South School of Internet Governance. We started in 2009. So this year we had our 13th edition. 11 editions were face-to-face, and the last two editions were virtual, and we hope to come back to the face-to-face, so at least a hybrid format next year. So the school is based on there's no payment for the fellows, and if based on our budget, we pay hotel, meals, and accommodation and the training course for as many fellows as possible. And we have been evolving from 27 fellows in the first year in 2009 up to 300 in the last face-to-face meeting in Mexico in 2019. And with the virtual editions, we tried to use kind of a different environment. So we hired a special TV studio. You can see it there, some pictures. And we mixed the images from the Zoom meeting with the experts with some high definition cameras in the room. So what we wanted was kind of a different environment for a virtual meeting to make it a little bit more interesting. This year we added a new feature. We have 8 weeks pre-training, self-assisted asynchronous training course, because this was requested by the fellows before. So we prepared special videos, special podcasts, special training and reading material for the fellows. This year we had 620 fellows, but we had 3,500 applications. We have a different host every year. This year it was the Ministry of ICTs of Colombia. Each year we have more than 100 experts, and this year we had almost 40 different sessions. And a new feature is that we have an application that the fellows can have, and they can follow all the event from any device. So they can watch the videos there, they can participate there, they have a messaging system for the fellows, and they can interact with the experts. Of course, as all the activities that we do since day 0 are in English and Spanish available. And when we organized it in Brazil 2 times, it was also translated into Portuguese. So the 5 days of training are synchronous, and so we have these 2 sections now: the pre-training, which is a synchronous of 8 weeks, and then the training of 5 days synchronous. So I'm reading my notes. We have a YouTube channel. All the sessions in Spanish and English are published there. This is SIG LAC. You can find all the content there. At the beginning, it's all by day, but then our team splits it into the different sections and presentations. And also, we published a book as the 10th anniversary of the school. It's kind of a big book. It's in Spanish, English, and Portuguese, and it has a foreword by Vintserf and other very relevant experts from the whole Americas and some from Europe. And can we go to the next one? Thank you, Avery. We started with the School of the Argentina School of Internet Governance in 2017. The South School of Internet Governance is focused mainly in Latin America, but now with the virtual event, we have fellows from all over the world. Mainly they are Latinos, Latino-Americanos, but we have people from Europe, North America, Africa, Asia. And so that's an interesting feature, because we had remote participation before, but now with this virtual activities, people is more engaged in different events. Here you can see somehow the arrangement of the studio and the book. And as I said, we have the YouTube channel. All the materials of the Argentina School of Internet Governance and the Regional School of Internet Governance are published in the YouTube channel in both languages. And what we did with the Argentina school in the last 2 years has been also virtual, with the same virtual experience that we use for the regional school. But we did a different focus with the Argentina one. We, apart from the general program, we went into deep content about some provinces. We picked one province from the far north, one from the far south, one for the far west, and one for the center of Argentina, because it's kind of a large country, so realities are totally different in different provinces. So we did this special edition that was very, very successful. So I think I covered all the points that I wanted to share with you. And thank you very much.
Thank you. And now let me go to the next one. It's funny, I don't remember which order they're in, so it's a surprise to me each time. This is the Russian Summer School on Internet Governance.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. I was hoping to be together with Avri in Katowice, but okay, we're still can see and hear each other. Okay, I will be talking about the Russian Summer School on Internet Governance. We are quite young. We were established in 2020, exactly in the midst of the pandemic. So all of our activities were online completely from the start, and it really affects how we decided to build upon the curriculum and the activities. On the slide, you see, I guess, the main outcomes. So the school is relatively small if compared to the South school that Olga has presented just now. But it's a really good example of the involvement into the internet governance topic in Russia. So for the past year, for 2020, we have more than 100 applications. And finally, we have 38 graduates. For this year, we have a lesser figure, it's 34, but still the quality is very high and good. Let me just say a few words about the educational process. So we decided that our school will be more of academic style. But again, we invite a lot of speakers from the industry, from the community. On the right, you can see the organizations from where we have speakers. But the main case here is that we make this summer school in Russian language. That is really important. So we are trying to locate the IG topic, the internet governance topic, for the Russian users, for the Russian youth, for the Russian young professionals and educators too. So what is the average portrait of the school participants? So mainly they are students or graduates, but we also have lecturers and young professionals. And the background expertise of them is very broad. It's international relations, it's politics, it's law, human rights, media and communications. And of course, we have the tech representatives from telecommunications, from programming, from broader ICTs and so forth. And the age differs from 18 to 35 years. So it's pretty young school, I must confess. And the main feature is that we partner with the St. Petersburg State University in order to provide with the official certificate of completion of the course. So this is really important for students because they can also take these credits, these educational credits, and bring them to their universities to be included into the diploma. That is also a very good thing. Finally, the last words, probably. For the next year, we also plan the online edition. And since our geography of the school participants is located in Russia and the CIS region mainly, this is a good also opportunity because the territories are big and it is quite challenging to bring everybody on the venue. So online format proved to be the most effective one. Thanks.
Thank you. And the next is Nigeria. Do we have someone from the Nigerian school here? Nope. Okay, well, everybody can look at the slide. Since I don't teach there, I won't read it. And I'll move on. Asia Pacific.
Hi, thanks everyone. This is Satish from the AP-SIG. We were founded in 2015 as a second-tier SIG targeted at organizers of national SIGs and IGFs. We've been having annual editions from 2016. All the face-to-face editions have been in Bangkok, but this week we are having our face-to-face edition at Colombo, Sri Lanka. And 2020 was virtual, but 2021 is in Colombo. We changed from a kind of an NGO setup to a community-driven model from 2019. Now we have a elected executive committee, which took charge in July 2019. We are a not-for-profit. Apologies for the typo there. This time, for instance, we are actually paying for about 25 international fellows and 15 Sri Lankan fellows. So the idea is that we move from country to country, providing local capacity building with the local fellows. But we also have international fellows. So it's a combination of international and local. And we provide travel plus accommodation, and we don't charge a fee. So we're trying out this model from this year onwards, post-COVID. We are hoping that we'll have more. At present, there is some interest from other countries on this model. We've been invited for the next year also. So we are hoping that this will catch on. Thank you very much, and back to you, Abri.
Thank you. And the next is India School.
I don't see Amrita here, so I'll speak on this as well. India School was founded in 2016. We just had our sixth edition held in Hyderabad. It's a virtual edition hosted by Chennai chapter. The first edition was actually just prior to the ICANN 57 meeting, which was in Hyderabad. We had invited at that point, most of the speakers were from ICANN circles, and we did have a fairly significant launch because all our speakers are global experts. It was a joint initiative of 2 ISOC chapters in 2016, but today it has got all the 6 ISOC chapters behind it, which is a very unique model. So we have continuity of leadership and continuity of the team that's organizing and also the content. And we have a regional national model of international fellows and local fellows. And we also go from city to city. And it's a not-for-profit model supported by the .in registry, ISOC, ICANN, APNIC, and other agencies. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you. Next is...
That's Armenia School. Hello, everyone. The Armenian School of Internet Governance was founded and started its school in 2017. And the first edition was, first 2 editions actually been for the students only, particularly, but covering different professions. So the first one was 5 full day course. You can see this on the slides. We had 30 participants. Then we were experimenting with the first edition. We found that it was too hard for students for 5 full days to understand the whole knowledge of IG world. That was quite a challenge. And the next year we went to the 5 months extension of once a week format. But that was also not that very good because we decided only to have on Saturdays, and most participants did not come after 2 months of attendance. Then we changed the format of shortening the program for 3 full days. And we opened the participation to all stakeholders, not only to students. We had 18 participants in that year, and last year during the pandemic, that was in September, we thought that we can organize a hybrid meeting. That was our first experience. In fact, it was quite a challenge, but we opened the application as the previous year to everyone, and I was amazed to receive very many applications from teachers. Actually, all the teachers of our school, since they've been involved with this educational and online platforms. They wanted to learn more about the IG world. So most of the participants were teachers, and they mentioned that this was really a good opportunity for them because they could not come to the capital city to attend otherwise, if not this hybrid format, the online format. So that one was 4 full days, and eventually we had 40 participants. I mean, the participants were more than that, but we gave certificates to those who passed all the credentials, all the tests, etc., that we prepared for them. And you might know that in 2020 we had a war, and the situation was pretty bad in Armenia. And when the war was ended, we found that the misinformation and disinformation in the country and the knowledge of journalists would be of high demand for them to know how to protect, how to go and flow the information, etc. So this year, actually, we organized a special edition, the 5th one, specifically for journalists. And we managed to do that in outside of the city, and that was face-to-face meeting. It was very interesting. The interaction was very high level and a deep discussion specifically on the topics of information, trust, etc. So we received the feedback from them, and it was really very good. We might continue organizing some courses during a year, maybe some of them with specific targets. So I think the feedback was good in this sense. So maybe we will continue this practice. And the organizers over these all these years have been Internet Site Armenia chapter and the registry, which I think really very interesting to have this feedback, the support of the registry. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. By the way, I have a little alarm that goes off after the 3 minutes, and it'd be really nice if people paid attention to it. Pakistan School on Internet Governance. Is there someone here from there that wants to talk to it? If not, we can look at the slide for a short bit. The first one was 2015, so it's been going for a while. Each year it's held, different city, 300 plus students graduated so far. And the 2022 class will be held in Gilgit. I'm sure I pronounced it wrong, but 5,000 feet above sea level. That sounds cool. Next. Okay, European Summer School. Now, Sandra, I have an apology to give you. I said I was going to give you a few minutes at the beginning as the chair of this to say something, and then I buzzed right by it. So if you do want to include that in your time, please feel free.
No, very Afri. I think it is more important to give the floor to the numerous schools that are here online. I would like to introduce shortly the European Summer School on Internet Governance, which I think is the last in the list of the schools today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is.
We submitted our slide as the last one, which makes a little bit sense in a way, because we've been the first one to be established. So that's why we are the last today. And I think it should be mentioned here again that it's great to see that so many schools across the globe are following a concept that was invented and first established by Wolfgang Kleinwächter in Meißen in 2006. And not because I have a relationship with him as he is my father-in-law, but I really think this should be mentioned, that one person in this respect really changed the world in a way that so many other organizations, countries, individuals are following this same concept, which became so successful meanwhile. And I'm very glad that he is with us today, and he will speak later on about his vision, how to develop this concept of schools forward. But now let me just briefly refer to our school, which is the European one, and the name is a little bit misleading because actually we consider ourselves as a global school because we do invite fellows from across the globe. And you see that from our statistical breakdown here, the fellows by geographical region, you see that, of course, there is a majority from Europe, but there is equally there are equal participants from across the world, and this makes us basically very lucky and happy, because only if you have the entire world sitting in the room, you will really get the or you will really get to the core of the pressuring issues and how they relate to the challenges in each region of the world. So far, we had fellows from 97 countries and 363 fellows, which might not sound very huge, but this is part of our concept, that we give a focus on the networking opportunity, and networking is better done if the group is not too huge. So we stick to a group size of maximum 30 people. During the pandemic, we had to size down our group size a little bit, and we found that was even a better move, and we will possibly stick to that concept. Now, speaking about the pandemic, I personally felt very, very lucky that we, besides the pandemic, were able to host our school as a face-to-face meeting also during the last 2 challenging years. I appreciate colleagues that move to hybrid and to online versions a lot. I could not and would not do it, because our concept is really built on the face-to-face interaction and the networking, and we would not try to move in the virtual world with our school, because, as I said, there are colleagues who can do this much better than we can. So we will stick to our core skills and facilitate the debate in this old monastery here in Meissen. And you see, I have taken seat on the terrace already. Those who've been there might remember that terrace that is populated by our fellows until late at night. Regarding the dynamic coalition, let me just thank also Avri here, because she is the one driving this forward since, I think now 3 years since it was founded in Geneva. It was 2017. Since that time, you are holding us together, Avri. I think that's something that needs to be applauded. You're doing it very well. And I think it's the only platform where all these schools basically come together. And in this respect, I think it's also a great movement that we will now have support from the IGF Secretariat. And I heard Farzaneh is here, who will be cooperating with us. And I think that's on your agenda next, Avri, so I give back to you.
Yeah, thanks. It's not quite on the agenda next, but it is coming up. And I got to say, the only reason I do it is because you're there as the chair and you keep motivating me. And as long as you keep motivating me to do it, I keep doing it. But thank you. Okay, I wanted to, one of the things that I didn't put in the agenda, but we normally do, is just sort of ask if anybody is starting a new school or a new program and wanted to say something about it. But very briefly, and I have 2 hands. So first, Alexander, and then I don't have your name, but you're next. So please.
Okay, I'll try to be brief. Alexander Isavnin, Free Moscow University. At Free Moscow University, we try to teach things which are not popular or not available in official educational institutions in Russian Federation. And actually, you've seen representatives of Russia from parliament here. They are not very coincident with our processes. So during academic year 2020-2021, we had run twice a course of introductions to the internet governance. Broad internet governance in general, or narrow one with distribution resources. And it appears that it's really difficult to explain to Russian students in Russian language how bottom-up processes works, how broad discussion is available. Around 80 students signed up for our courses, and we tried also to bring practical issues. Our alumni participated successfully in ICANN Next Gen. Our students submitted a lot of proposals for EuroDig and participated in this. Also, our students prepared a workshop for this Internet Governance Forum, but it was not accepted. So it's a lot of work to do with us. Mostly we try to speak, our course is run in Russian language. we try to invite active participants of internet governance community, IETF, RIRs, ICANN. Not a lot of people speak Russians, but we also try to invite them. And as additional information, I would like to thank Glenn McKnight, because we can give recordings of meetings with prominent English-speaking participants, able to give link to that materials. As we are not exact school of internet governance, I hope we can start a few days form of school soon, and really appreciate any recommendations from you, any partnerships, any possibilities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And next, and please introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you so much. Hey, everyone. My name is Abdul Bashar Bong. So I'm coming from Chad. I am the coordinator of School of Internal Governance in Chad. So I'm here with my colleague, Mustafa. He's a co-convener also of this school. So last year, we organized our first edition of School of Internal Governance in Chad. It was very successfully because we have 50 people who was trained, and we mobilized also 3 speakers coming from outside. We have Sébastien from France, we have Tijani Benjama from Tunisia, and we have Esther Noura, the president of ISOC Cameroon. And we have some intervention online also. From ICANN, we have Yao V, and from Afrinic, we have Boris Abba. So this school is, we work in partnership. Is convened by House of Africa, that I'm the president, but also we have a partnership with a national ICT agency called ADETIC. So we organize, they paid everything, is all the staff, they paid. So we build the program, and we prepare also for the speaker who come outside. So it was the first time that civil society partnership with the government and sustainable project. But this year we need to organize for the first time. It was 14 and 15 December. It was at Hotels of Presidents. This is our first edition. So this year we prepare our edition, second edition, but it's very hard also because we have challenging some lack of funding also, because we have only one source of funding with the government, and the team will change. And always, you know, the government side, they change all the teams. They change the director general, advice directory, and all the technical. So we need to start again. We have the agreement for 4 years. So this one of the challenging, and most of people ask us why not doing the second edition. So I'm coming here just to have a partnership with some colleague here who have funding, or how they can support us with the program also. Because our school, we have our information in our Facebook pages, and our website is the Ender Foundation. So the school was face-to-face, and it was successfully in French and Arabic also. So I can give
Thank you.
My colleague Mustafa for information. It was the first fellow in our school, and now we coordinate with him. So this good idea to do it. So Mustafa, if you have something.
Now, for now, that was the thing. Basically, have a very full agenda, but just wanted to give all new schools a chance to say something. Sorry. Yeah. So another new school?
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Michel Chonon. I'm coming from Cameroon. This year, we organized the first governance school of Central Africa in Cameroon. That take place on 80 to 29 with the support of ISOC. And during this school governance, we have about 16 students online, and the IGF Cameroon was the support, and CAPDA Association. We think we are going to continue next year, and at that time we will send you some letter to tell you what we wanted to do. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you. And yeah, there has been a request. I see you're not, maybe you're on, no, you're probably not online. On the chat school, there was a request if there was a website and if you can send it to our list or put it on the chat if you log into the chat, but please. Okay, any other schools? Oh, another 2 schools. Okay, quickly, please. At first, there had only been 2, and then now there's 4. Yes, please go ahead. Huh? Okay.
Good day, everyone. My name is Sarah Koulibaly. I just joined the section of the school in the Ivory Coast. This is the coordinator. And then we are planning on having our first event at the end of the month. We are currently discussing with the Ivorian government to make sure that we put everything in place to have that host as soon as possible.
Thank you. And there was another hand, yes?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks, everyone. I would like to share the information about the Somali School of Internet Governance. It's been established last year, same like Chad and Cameroon. And it has a functional website and everything, but what we have, what they are facing now for the challenges are, they're not getting more detail in the secretary of the IGF. Because of the establishment of the IGF is and the school then comes after youth IGF, then they go to the put in their information into the secretariat. But in that information, you see that many African countries, around 24, they are not even aware of IGF is and what is going on. So in that particular information, how we can read them, because of the next year, IGF is going to be in Africa. Coming to Africa, but half of the African countries, they do not have established the IGFs. So we need for those who has the power or to put efforts to bring that African, which we are very behind in terms of the internet and accessibility, to bring them in on these platforms. That is what I am going to add it.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, one of the things I recommend to all of you is that you join the Dynamic Coalition and start participating in this, because that's where you'll find contacts and support and people with, materials and whatever. In terms of the Secretariat doing more to reach out to African School, the Dynamic Coalition obviously does not speak for the Secretariat and can't, but certainly if there's anything the Dynamic Coalition can do, let the list know, and there might be somebody on that list that can actually do. You, Henriette, you said you wanted to say something quickly about a new South African school.
The South African School of IG, actually the organizers are here, but they are not, and they are in the Dynamic Coalition, but they're not here. It took place in October. It included a hackathon, and it was a bit of a mix of an IG school and an IT school. But it was a really, good start. It was organized by ZADNA, the CCTLD in South Africa. Avri, can I make another comment?
Sure, go ahead.
I think what we're seeing emerge with the schools of IG is that they are exploding. They are everywhere. And I think that's really, really good. I think most of the schools, the new schools, are targeting younger people, students, or young professionals. I think there's a gap, and I think it's a really serious gap. And it's a gap that we try and fill in the African school, which Avri talked about earlier. And that is to get people in government that are middle, maybe senior management, same thing in private sector and in the tech community. Because I think they are also in need of having a deeper understanding of internet governance and how to be effective and influential in internet governance. And I think this is more, it's a combination of sort of leadership development as well as IG capacity development. And we try and do that with AfriSig. And I find it actually very frustrating because everyone always thinks, oh, AfriSig is about youth. Actually, it's not. We have young people, but they are there because they are emerging leaders. And I'm just wondering if other people feel that there's this gap as well. And if this is perhaps something that we can have like a subgroup that could work on that. But I think it's a very important gap. And I think that the training that's provided by ICANN and sometimes by Internet Society is it's too narrow. It's not, it's too institution and context specific. I think we need something that's a little bit more comprehensive.
Thank you. And in fact, perhaps we can look at that when we get to plans, and we can certainly talk about it on the dynamic coalition list. And yeah, we can have as many little subgroups working on stuff as people want to be in little subgroups working on stuff. Okay. Yes, please. Yet another school?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Je m'excuse en francophone. Je suis Tcherno Abdulba, je viens de la Guinée-Conakry. Je suis nouveau dans le processus de IGF et c'est dans ce cadre même que je suis venu. Et je vais vraiment, dès mon retour à Conakry, installer le IGF pour la jeunesse, IGF Youth in Conakry, et voir comment mettre en place cette école de gouvernance de l'Internet en place. Et je compte vraiment sur votre soutien technique et financier pour afin de mettre cela en place. Donc, merci.
Thank you. Apologize that, right. Most of you probably understood.
Yes.
I actually understood a little. We don't have translation here for anybody that has less French than me. Apologies.
He coming from Guinea, and he says that it's first time to be in this IGF, and he had a project to start a new school of internal governance and use IGF also. So he need our technical support, financial support to start. Thank you.
So join the dynamic coalition, and it's an email list, but there'll be people there that speak French, and, and such, so we can get communications going. So, welcome and please go. Okay, now I'm actually running late because I hadn't anticipated quite so many new schools, but it's kind of exciting anyhow. So I think I'll probably go a little quickly over this year. In terms of the recap of the year's activities. There were things that at last year's meeting we planned to do. We planned to do a lot more work on 2 of our documents, especially the operational guide, which is a document that's been started. It's part of what several of you have been talking about of how do we start? What do we do? How do you organize this thing? And we basically have a toolkit document that sort of talks about the subject matter material. And Glenn and Alfredo started an operational guide that sort of gets into a lot of the details, but that's a document that is what I call a very rich outline. There's a lot of discussion, but it's still small, so it needs people to fill it in. It had been our plan to work on that this year, but it's not something that people stepped up. One of the things about a bottom-up effort, the Dynamic Coalition is a bottom-up effort. If you all, the members of the Dynamic Coalition, don't contribute the text doesn't get written for the most part. Farzaneh will probably tell us about where this helps. But I just wanted, so those are 2 things that remain on our list to do. We have 2 documents. They need more help. They need more contribution. They're already pretty good. They're living documents. So each year, hopefully they'll get better. Then though, Glenn, and I'm going to ask him to talk about it a little, picked up, basically decided on his own. And that's another good thing about a bottom-up group. Somebody decides on their own to do something cool, they can do it. And basically he got a lot of support. He basically did a lot of interviews with people from the schools. I've listened to all these interviews. They're very good in terms of people discussing their mission, their hopes, or whatever. And Glenn, I wanted to give you a little bit of time to talk about the project, and it is on the website, but Glenn, please.
Sure. Hi, everybody. As Avery said, it was something that I suggested, but not only I suggested, I went ahead and organized the calls. Now, if you look at and I've put it into the chat, the link for you to look at. There's 14 videos in total. Liana, the Armenian school I'll be doing, we just have not gotten together to set up the suitable time. So they average roughly anywhere from roughly 20 minutes to an hour in length. And the original intention of the videos was to ask people, how did your school adjust due to COVID-19 in the last couple of years? What did you do? How did you adapt? And what's your plans for 22? So that was the fundamental focus. And people stayed to the script pretty good. And you know, there isn't one school that's the same as the next. Some school have certain challenges in certain areas, and I'm not going to say what they are, but generally speaking, this is a hard-working, dedicated group of volunteers that have stepped up and are doing a great job in what they're doing and making a huge impact. And what's interesting is how some schools have a really quite a detailed process of selecting fellows and assigning homework and assignments and whatnot. So it's quite impressive. Now, as I said, the main focus of this was to look at how they, in one word, adapted to the situation, and I think they all did very, very well. In the case of the North American school, we just decided not to put everything on hold in 2020, so it didn't happen. But you know, we're back into the action plan again. So I need to just shout out due to time. Thank you all for dedicating your time, and I have one more interview to do. And thanks again. That's it.
Thank you. I had put a moderated discussion of the issues, and but I'm wondering how many people have listened and watched these interviews, have found them, have seen them. People on the list perhaps wanna, I mean, on the, if anybody wants to say anything about them, we can take a few minutes before moving on from people that have listened to them, if there's any view. As I said, I've listened to them all up to now, and I find them quite rich. I don't see a lot of people raising their hands on having listened to them or wanting to talk to them. So we can move on at the moment. Yes, Olga.
I saw the video. I don't want to take a lot of time. For us, it was challenging in deciding what to do with the pandemic, and we decided to go to a different environment for visual. We wanted something different, and it was extremely challenging, especially first year, which was the first time that we did it. So I was interested in seeing how others had become this inconvenience. We learned for the second year how to organize time, and that, so it went much better. It went very well at the first year, but this year it was better. But the video is very good, and thank you very much, Glenn, for taking the time of doing that.
Thanks. Yes, another comment, please.
Yes, thanks so much. It's Abdul for the floor. So I watched the interview. So it was wonderful because it will help us a new school who want to start and the new challenges. Also, this kind of thing we need it inside the school because we need to have, in French you call archive. We need to have documentation. So thank you so much for that.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So yeah, I mean, yeah, thank you, Glenn. It was really, you know, a really good initiative, and I'm hoping that more schools as they come on do them, and I'm really hoping people go and listen to them. Anybody else have something they wanted to say on the videos? As I say, it's a rich resource, and then with the documents we're collecting and some of the stuff we'll talk about next, that another part of our resources that hopefully grows each year is a resource that's maintained by Rainer, and that's our website, and hopefully you're all aware of it. And Rainer, I don't know if you wanted to say a couple words about the website and kind of what your ambitions are for it going forward, but the floor is yours if you want it.
Thanks for giving me the floor. I just put a link to the entry form for every school on the chat. So if there are new schools emerging, they should just fill in this form, and then they are officially member of the DC. And certainly they will receive all information that are available, and they also can be part of the wiki and get some information on its school on the wiki. And if you are interested, you're also welcome to contribute there, as Glenn, for example, has done, with a lot of information that may be also relevant for other schools. So I only can invite you if you have any ideas, if there are any things you think should be done with the website, with the web space. I'm happy to learn about it, and if possible at all, I will try to facilitate it. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, the wiki is really quite a good potential resource. And as Glenn, who is probably one of our most active participants in the DC, has populated it with all kinds of information. But there's room for each and every one of the schools that wants to put information about its school, information about its courses, pictures, whatever it is you have that speaks about your school. There's an opportunity there for people to do that. So I really recommend that people take a look at it and and add your information. It's the DC, its dynamism. People have asked, well, what's so dynamic about a dynamic coalition? Its dynamism is what you all contribute, what the source of information. So this year, Glenn was probably our greatest source of dynamism, but others have contributed over the years. Others contributed this year, contributing to the wiki, to the documents, to whatever is what keeps us a dynamic coalition. We're obviously a coalition, many schools, many countries, many people. So let me move on. I see no hands or people wanting to say more on that. And I want to make sure that we don't miss some of the things on the agenda. And we've got some time left, and that's the plans for next year. So the first thing that I have on that is the collaborative project with the IGF Secretariat. And Sandra talked a little bit about it. We've had a couple conversations in some of our meetings. For anybody that's new, we try to have a meeting. Sometimes we do it every month when we're very busy, when we've got a lot that we're doing. Like one of the things we do is we go through all the edits to our documents. When there's no edits to the documents, then maybe we meet every 2 or 3 months. It really is a variable. But anyhow, there's a collaborative project with the IGF Secretariat. Farzaneh Badi joined our meeting rather. I'm used to doing this as a call, joined our meeting, and I'd like to give her the floor.
Hi, thank you, Avery. Hello, everybody. Good to see you here. And I'm back at the Secretariat after a decade. So I'm very excited about this project. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about this strategy that I'm developing. Of course, this is going to be a collaborative strategy with you and others. So what the Secretariat wants to do from the deliverables, it's about like an internet governance, like global syllabus that can be adjustable to different local conditions and capacity, but also like with a focus on how you can like operationalize the idea of like having an internet governance school. And so Avery, do I have 3 minutes too, or can I be given like more? Just okay.
You've got more than 3 minutes.
Oh, okay, thank you. So basically, what I'm supposed to do here is to work with the DC on internet governance schools, and like the members, and as well as the broader community to design a global internet governance syllabus. And for that, I have like I'm still like consulting, and I'm going to reach out to you as well to understand which networks we can also like reach out to use their insights about designing the internet governance syllabus, and like a global syllabus that can also be adapted to the local needs, and also like other thematic needs. So I have been using, I'm looking at the DC toolkit, which is a very, very interesting, and also like it has a lot of information on it. I am going to design that in a way that like design this document that I'm going to produce in a way that it gets insight from this toolkit, and but also reach out to like various educational programs that are already out there and around the world, and not necessarily only in North America or developed countries. So I'm going to reach out to academic networks such as like, you know, there's this GigaNet that also there are like professors at schools and that teach internet governance, to get insights from there. And also, so one of the things that I think that we need to think about and decide is who is this document that we are going to provide is for, and it's who is this syllabus for. And I was thinking that maybe teachers and professors and stakeholder groups around the world that they want to like know about internet governance, or they want to teach it at their school. It can be a study aid, it can be of course, communities that want to convene a school of internet governance, and then also communities that want to train workforce, initiate and strengthen thematic, regional, and local internet governance forum initiatives even. I know it's a bit too ambitious. We're gonna like work on like limiting it, and this is all with consultation with the IGF Secretariat. And then one part that is very important, and I'm going to be done after this. So I also like perhaps create structures to crowdsource issue-specific local educational materials, and have like a core program for global internet governance syllabus, but also have all these like other issues that might be more thematic. And we also want to implement some kind of like a monitoring process to see if this syllabus is actually being used by schools, and our audience. How is it being used, so we can survey the newly established schools about how useful it is, and this like in the long run. And like also like will it help like non-IG schools in training their staff, or planning IG events even. And also working on the dynamic coalition members, and also inviting them to join the schools that are not already members. And I'm working on that. I have done a little bit of work on who is not a member but is a school, and other like I'm also like kind of looking at the broader landscape of internet governance education. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to open discussion, but what I'd really like to do is I've got about a little over 10 minutes before I want to leave time at the end for Wolfgang to talk. So we've got about 10 to 15 minutes where I basically want to open up the discussion to any of these topics, and any of these topics that we don't talk about enough today, we could talk about at our next meeting in a month or two, whenever it gets scheduled for, because we go on all the time. So it's not like we do it today and then we wait another year. So I want to open the floor to any of the stuff you see in this agenda here. I've already talked about the toolkit and operations guide. Not much to say about it unless you're going to write in it. So, but it's there. It needs work. Yes, I got Olga and I've got Ilana. So Olga, please.
Thank you, Avery. Two questions.
Okay.
The meetings that you mentioned that you have every 2-3 months or sometimes, are they open? I mean, we can
Yep, everything's open to anybody.
But you invite by the email list. Honestly, yes. I may have missed. Okay, so I will pay more attention. That's my.
No, everything is on the email list. Okay. When I get it together, all things being equal, assuming I continue doing this,
thank you.
I'll send out a notice, 2-3 weeks in advance. And then as the meeting comes up, I try to send out reminders. I've tried to do an exercise of trying to schedule these in friendly times, given that it's a global thing, but I'm not sure how successful I've been. I
know I wanted to join in one of them, and I didn't, and I did saw the recording.
I think you're on the list now. I know we went through is your email on the list or not question at one point, but I think that got resolved.
Thank you. And another question for Farzaneh. Farzaneh, how do you plan to work with us? How can we help you in doing your job, or do you have any ideas to share with us?
Yes. So I have. So I'm going to reach out to you. I'm going to talk to the secretariat as well next week. I was just taken on like that.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm going to talk to the secretariat next week, and then I'm going to reach out to each of you, like members of the Dynamic Coalition, but other schools as well. And I'm going to provide you with a kind of like a strategy document that will lay out what I'm going to be doing, and then you can like comment on that, and then in that strategy document I will ask like for information if I need. I have been looking at your websites and social media, and they're very helpful, but I will get back to you with like specific question and information. Thank you.
Farzaneh, are you subscribed to the DC list?
Yes.
Good. Good. And people can reach out to you if they have something or just dying to contribute.
Oh, if they're dying to contribute, of course.
Right. Well,
yeah, I'm going to put my email in the chat.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so at the moment on the list, I've got Ilana, Henriette, and Abdel Jalil. So Ilana.
Okay, thanks. I just want to raise the point that I already have raised during the DC meetings, and this is actually on the agenda about the linkage between the fellows from the schools and the probably faculty of the schools. So as we see, the number of schools is growing, and we have like more than a dozen already, but we're really lacking the networking between our alumni about the fellows. And I think this is a good start for them, because one of the major aims of schools is just to get people prepared to participate in internet governance processes, events. And if we can if we can join them together on the school level, it would be a good start for them. So it's an open question. It's really hard to propose anything just right now, but probably some kind of repository of contacts would be a good starting point.
Okay, thanks. Now, Rainer did not mention them, but we do indeed have provision on the website for fellows and faculty to contribute their information. So that already exists, though I don't think it has been used much. I think, Ilana, you've mentioned this a couple times, And I'd almost encourage you to follow Glenn's example. And certainly I'll give a hand where you ask for one if you decide to take on this challenge, since it really does appear like a challenge you're interested in. And Rainer will also, be willing to help with whatever's needed in terms of the website. Now, in terms of what kind of tools, what kind of mechanisms, those are things that, if you can get a couple people to get in touch that are willing to work with you on, it is perhaps a challenge that you want to take on. Again, I emphasize that the bottom-up nature of the dynamic coalition, that anybody's free to put out a good idea and anybody is free to jump on that good idea and help work on it. But don't necessarily expect that I will get to working on it, but I'm always willing to help a little. So hopefully that makes sense to you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yep, okay, thanks. I'm sorry, have a good idea, I'll ask you to work on it. Henriette, you were next.
Thanks. Actually, I wanted to respond to Fazi, but I'll start also, I want to respond to Ilona. That's something we actually do quite successfully in AfriSIG. AfriSIG started in 2013, and from the beginning, we have an alumni mailing list. So automatically, every year, the class is added to that mailing list. We have reunions at events in Africa. People get together and take pictures, and people get jobs. They get research money through that alumni mailing list. Since 2016, the fellows have started using WhatsApp. And so now every year since 2016, there's a WhatsApp group. And in fact, for me, that's been a challenge because there's so much active networking between the fellows from 1 year on the WhatsApp group that it's kind of hard to get them to use email for the comprehensive list. And then just the other thing I wanted to say, Fazi, is something that we use in AfriSIG very effectively is evaluation and monitoring. We do every year quite an in-depth evaluation. And we take this very seriously. And then we also do every few years tracer studies where we do longitudinal evaluations of what the impact of the school has been. And then just my final comment, I think it's great that you are doing this project, but I also want to I've been doing the curriculum for AfriSIG since the beginning, and every year it is different because there are new things. We have a free trade agreement in Africa being discussed at the moment. So this year we had a strong focus on trade. We didn't have that last year. And I just think that when you develop this, just make sure that you keep that openness. Internet governance is not static. And I think our internet governance capacity development does have to reflect that. So just create a curriculum that people can use wholesale, I think is not enough. And I know you will do it really well. I'm so glad it's you.
And in fact, that's been the idea behind the toolkit. While we decided that we couldn't do a curriculum, so we wrote about the general subjects and issues. Abdel Jalil. And then you.
Thank you so much for giving me the floor. So thank you to Farzani. I think that we have now a focal point between us, and it is a good point. So the big challenge